Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kaustubha. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Alachua, Florida, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center, New York, Kaustubha. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the center of the Krishna consciousness movement in America, in Alachua, Florida. Thousands of devotees live here. It's unbelievable. We're staying with this really nice devotee family. We've got really nice devotee kids. We went over to Sham Kishore and Rasa Marita's house yesterday. The kids had a great time. All the kids are playing with kids their own age. All the kids are outside.
Your kids now?
Yeah, they all stayed out till like midnight last night, playing volleyball at the rec center, doing teenage things, but like higher caliber teenage things. Not like okay. If you and I were staying till midnight at the rec center, we'd be like our face in a bag of glue. That's what we'd be doing.
Well, how old is Sachi now?
Sachi's 18. No, she's about to become 18. She's about to be 18.
And Rock was how old?
16. Tarun went to the splashy water park.
You were straight edge. That was good for you.
Straight edge protect me. Krishna's protecting them.
Age, forget about it.
I know. Like I said, I want to see a time lapse of your life. You know,
did you
little
check
kid
out the
putting orange
things?
Juice to your mouth and putting
juice.
a Coca-Cola to your mouth? Then putting a bag of glue to your mouth.
I never sniffed glue. Okay, that was not my thing.
I never did either, but I know kids did that. They put a bag. It was like, don't try this at home, children, if you're listening.
Never do this. Never
do this. They've got newer drugs now. They don't need our old school model airplane glue drugs. I didn't do that either.
Let's raise the conversation. Did you check out, because you mentioned time-lapse, did you check out that Instagram thing I was telling you about yesterday, the daily
You know
art?
what? Yesterday was a tough day for me.
Oh.
But I will say time-lapse photography, it's almost like, have you seen you have seen, I'm talking to other people out there. Has everybody seen the changing bodies display? It shows like a little infant in the womb growing to a toddler, growing to a 5-year-old boy with a baseball, bat, growing to like a young educated boy, and growing to a man, growing
He's
to
got
like
some books in his hand.
He's got his books. This is a good one. And then he grew to it like an older man, and then grow to like a man who's got a little shorter and his belly got a little more fat. Then he gets a little older. Then he's walking with a stick, and then he's like dying, like collapsing.
His bones. And
it shows like sort of like a spear, a dot. Like like the good ones have like a little
light bulb
going through each one. So it's like the soul is going through all these different bodies, and it's to show how the soul does change bodies within this life. So time-lapse photography is really sort of like a modern day way looking at that diorama.
Suppose, yeah.
And so Kaustubha was showing that on Instagram. He got no, Mara did get it, but I didn't see it. We were in travel mode yesterday. I will check it out.
I mean, it makes you, think about it. Like, again, it's all perspective, right? That's like time-lapse photography is like a change in perspective in relation to time. What would normally take a certain amount of time takes a much shorter time. And when you see it from that perspective, you see it differently. and it makes you wonder about it differently. You realize just how beautiful an eggplant is. You know, it's like it's an amazing, beautiful thing. It, you know, it grows and it dances and it produces this incredibly you know, wonderful fruit or vegetable, and then it has all the seeds to create more inside of it, and you put that in the ground and more come right up, and it does the dance again, and it creates more. It's really fascinating to see. And maybe this will tie in a bit to the nugget today, now that you brought this up, this time-lapse stuff.
Well, I think this is sort of like the ABCs. I think when we first start to speak to people about bhakti and Krishna consciousness, it's one of the ABCs, how there is also a type of Maya that's hovering around this diorama, and that is that you don't realize that you're changing bodies, which is very interesting. You don't realize, like, I remember looking at that diorama with my kids. I brought my kids to Vrindavan, and, you know, next to Prabhupada's Samadhi, they have all these, like, it's like a museum, you know, upstairs. And I was like, see this? This is the soul. This is your changing bodies. And this is you right here. And this is me, sort of like as the mature father. And they were like, no, Dad, you're the next one. You're a little shorter with the pot belly. I was like, I'm not the next one. See, I'm in illusion thinking, I'm thinking, everybody's thinking they are much younger than they are. And I think when you get to ages like ours, you don't realize how old you are until someone says, how old are you? And you're like, I'm 50. Oh,
but you know, it's so interesting that you brought this up, Raghunath. So just so that people are more clear, it's like at some point in Hare Krishna history, right? Like some artists began to create these dioramas that you could carry, you could put on a table and bring it out in the street, and set up a table with books, and people. The fact is this.
People love dioramas.
People were fascinated by this particular diorama, right? That showed like, hey, here's the stages you go from the womb until death.
Well, because it's sort of got this sort of like, not just an artistic thing to it, but it's got a sort of like a birth and death. Like it's not,
it's got an
it's a little
existential
confronting.
message.
It's confronting. It's sort of spiritual. Like the last one, the guy's like dying, reaching out for the grave or something like that. He's like, so it's not just like a pretty piece of art. It's sort of like gripping too. And then you got this lady, I'm sorry, trying to show it to you. You're like, what's going on?
but then also it had like a tiny little light bulb, like a little, like smaller than a Christmas light, you know, just a tiny, like a light bright, tiny little light
bright thing. Yes.
In the heart of each one, and that would move through each one, so you kind of get the message. Oh, I get it. The same observer, the same perceiver, the same soul is in a sense moving through the different bodies as you go through life. And you know, they found that in New York, because New York, you know, people are rushing so much, they found that if you could adjust the speed of that light, like if you could make it go faster, it would stop more people because people are moving so fast. They need to see it happen a little quicker, you know. But it's a fact that people would. It's so hard to get a New Yorker to stop on the sidewalk and check this out, but that diorama is what would do it, and it would initiate a conversation about life. It was, and it's this. It's exactly what you're saying. It's this change of perspective. Is this, you know, and here it's perspective in terms of time. What takes a long time, you don't even notice it. If you squeeze it into a tighter time, it becomes quite intriguing, quite interesting, quite, as you're saying, quite confronting. You know, is this what life is? And who am I? And how do I understand? And okay, now we need to ask the questions about life. Now we need to ask the important questions, and we got a book on it right here. Like that's how it would work, right? But you know, we have to change our perspectives. We have to shift them in order to figure out what we're doing here.
You know, the greatest confusing factor of life in the Mahabharata was, you know, Yudhisthira was asked that question in all those riddles by the Yaksha. There's a great chapter it's a great chapter of riddles in the Mahabharata. And the Yaksha, who's like this otherworldly being, I would call an alien. That's safe to say he's an alien. He's an alien from this planet. If you were to see a Yaksha today, you'd be like, we saw an alien. There was an alien here. I'm just putting that out there. But anyway, he started, and it was an alien who asked riddles, and Yudhisthira had to answer them. And the last final one was, what's the most fantastic thing of this world? And he said, the most fantastic thing is we see people dying every day. We hear about it in the news. everywhere. We know that our relatives have died, our grandparents have died, our great grandparents have died. We heard
The
of
plant dies, the
unexpected
animal
deaths.
dies.
We see animals die, but there is this idea that it's not going to happen. It's unfortunate for them, but it's not going to happen to me. That is the greatest illusion of life. And because of this illusion, there is no urgency about our spiritual life. Even with us, like I was telling the story about my friend yesterday who thought he had some terminal illness, and then he got very, very sober about life. Ever had one of these things where one of your friends dies or something like that, and you're like, oh my God, that could have been me. Oh my God. And you wake up and you're like, what am I going to do with my life? And you become like a self-realized soul for like 48 hours. And then as soon as the ceremony's over and the funeral's over, it's like back to the minutia of material existence. And you just forget about that urgency.
And that's why the yogis recommend regulation, that we need to discuss Bhagavatam. We need to discuss it, but we need to do it daily. Otherwise it just slips away.
Daily is big. Daily. Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya. Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya. And we're here. And I was just sharing with some, these people that I'm meeting here, these nice devotees here. I was like, they were like appreciating. They said, yeah, we listen to your podcast. And I said, yeah, if you've ever been on Zoom, these people are on Zoom here every day. It's quite amazing to see all these faces every day. By the way, a lot of people think our podcast is people say like this to me, I'd like to join you on Zoom, but 5 a.m. is tough. I was like, hey, guess what? We're doing it 6. And they're all like, yeah, 6 is more reasonable. I think I can do 6.
Our image, we're still using the same image. We should just remove the time, on the YouTube when the first image comes up.
Oh, really? What does it say?
When the Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya thing's going, I think it says 5 a.m. there.
Oh.
I got to switch that up.
It's intimidating.
Mara, would you be able to do that if I gave you a new image?
Sure.
Okay.
Mara.
Okay.
Mara. She's
Editing
good.
skills.
We're having fun. With Mara. All right. Let's get into the nugget, let's get into some announcements.
Yeah.
Miss Mara.
Sure. Bhakti Recovery Group meetings today are at 12:30 and 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And Josh Kane's given an asana class for our Patreon members at 10:30 a.m. this morning.
All right. Good job.
Also,
you sold that well.
You're supposed to be nice to me today.
Okay, nice. That was being nice. That was him being nice. So it was a little sarcastic.
I said good thing. That was being sarcastic.
Kaustubha, are you going to do a interview on Sunday?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe a day off on Sunday.
Oh. Oh. Mr. Kaustubha's taking a day off.
Got some things piling up. I gotta make some traction on them,
Okay, we're traveling. We're traveling early.
Yeah, you're traveling in, so.
All right, no show Sunday. All right. And also, you want to learn yoga? Learn it with the best. Cindy Lunsford, Bobby Marchand, and my humble self at Super Soul Farm this summer, 200-hour Bhakti Yoga Vinyas teacher training. Come and chill with us from July 13th to the 28th. Go to my link tree in my link in bio on my Instagram, or go to my website, raghunath.yoga. Me and Kaustubha got some announcements, secret announcements coming up for you, but we can't spill the beans yet. We got something secret happening.
So secret. I don't even know about it. Have you told me yet?
Okay, go on. I got some issues today with my healing.
Oh no.
Yeah,
You've been pushing the Raghunath. I think
I'm not doing anything. You know what it is? It's like I roll over and like just stretch a weird way, and it's like, ouch. I'm not lifting anything. Mara's like carrying everything, walking in the house. She's got like 5 bags, and I'm carrying like my bead bag. That's about it. But I don't think it's lifting. It's twisting and turning. And okay, let's dive into this sweet nugget.
Who's it from?
Well, this is it's from Pavlov.
It's from Pavlov of all people.
It's from Pavlov of all people. Ivan Pavlov. He's Russian. Ivan Pavlov.
It sounds like it to me.
Sounds pretty Russian. Don't become a mere.
What was he famous for?
He's the Pavlovian dog experiment. You ring a bell and feed the dog. You ring a bell, feed the dog. Ring a bell, feed the dog. Then you ring a bell, and you don't feed them, but they all think they're getting fed.
They salivate.
They start to salivate.
Yeah. They associate the two together. Okay. In any case,
Yeah.
that's what he's got to say. That's of any interest to us.
It's a pretty interesting, that in itself is pretty interesting thing, because it just means conditioning. We get conditioned to things.
Yeah.
Like right now, there's a dog in the house we're staying at. And the dog's really nice. He's a rescue dog. He's really nice to everyone. When he sees me, he goes, "Ah, ah." I was
Really?
like, good doggy, good doggy. Yeah, I think he would. They said, well, he would. I think there was like a crazy man in the house. And for some reason, he sees me as all the men in the house.
Associates you.
He associates me with the crazy man.
For some
He like
reason.
sniffed it right out of me. And so, but we get conditioned to a certain way. And then we get stuck in this conditioning. And maybe
Loops,
it's
patterns.
a phobia. Maybe it's a fear. Maybe it's some rage. Maybe it's some hurt. And we bring that, especially what happened in a previous life or childhood, and we bring it to our adult life. And we're stuck with this condition. We're not trusting people that we should trust. We're not, we might be a little
Stuck
short.
in habits that just serve no good purpose.
Serve no good purpose. They don't help us when we're trying to move forward. They just keep us. So a lot of, like, in psychology, is trying to work through these things, make us a little bit more functional. But there are things that we have to actually work on even to move forward in bhakti. If I don't trust people, or if I don't like people because I think people are out to get me, it's not going to work good with our bhakti. We got to, like, really start to examine that stuff. And it's part of the bhakti path is we need this, like, maha healing with the consciousness as well. Anyway, this is from Pavlov. Let's see what he says here. Don't become a mere recorder of facts, but try to penetrate the mystery of their origin. Don't become a mere recorder of facts, Mr. Kaustubha. It's not all in the head. It's in the heart, Kaustubha.
I don't know if that's exactly what he's saying.
But try to be, don't become a mere, I know, it was me. That was my commentary. Don't become a mere recorder of facts, but try to penetrate the mystery of their origin.
Okay.
There's a lot of book knowledge. This is where I go with this immediately. There's a lot of book knowledge in bhakti, and you can join the club, the bhakti club, by learning all the catchphrases. You're not the body, get out of the modes of get out of the gunas, transcend it, don't be attached. But to really get this stuff, you have to think what that actually means in a very, very deep way. I think we try to explain it on this show. I think we try to penetrate these catchphrases, these bhakti or yoga catchphrases. What do you think? How do you?
I was thinking of it in an entirely different way.
Uh-huh.
I was thinking of this in terms of, okay, don't be a mere recorder of facts, but try to, I mean, I'm not saying what you're saying isn't very valuable. It is.
You can if you want.
I mean, if you want to follow the way Raghunat's indicating right now, you could do that. But no, but don't be a mere recorder of fact. When I hear him say this, it sounds, I don't know where this is exactly from, but it sounds like it's almost like a senior scientist training up the younger scientists, right? Hey, we're doing research, we're recording facts. That's great. We do that research. But that research in itself, what meaning does it have? We won't really be able to derive so much value from it until we understand it in relation to its origin, right? It's like when you understand something in relation to its origin, it reveals its purpose. It reveals so much more of its value. You begin to understand what it's for. If you understand what this thing was created for.
Okay, I like that
right?
take on it. The context. What's the context of having a material body, of having material desires, of wanting love? What's the context of that?
What's the context? Exactly. Those are mere facts, but why? Where does it come from? And so, like in going back to the Chatushloki of the Bhagavatam, Vishnu, again, we were saying a couple of weeks ago, like we get this window into the most important conversations that have ever took place in the history of. So here's Lord Vishnu speaking to Lord Brahma. You're going like, you're going back to origins just by the nature of that conversation, But he explains to Brahma, the creator of the universe, that when you see what is illusion, what is confusion, right? When do we not understand things as they are?
Like a hip hop.
Like you got a song
What's
right
illusion?
there.
What's confusion?
But illusion or confusion is when we see something, what Vishnu is saying, when you see something separate from me, when you disassociate something from Lord Vishnu, when you disassociate something from its origin, now you're in illusion. Otherwise, you can be in the middle of this, even though in one sense, anything that is temporary, anything that's made out of material energy is illusory because it's here one moment, it's gone the next. But even that can be seen as reality if it's understood in relation to its origin. Our illusion is when we disassociate something with its origin. And for the yogis, for the bhakti yogis, the idea is we're walking through the world and we're seeing everything in relation to its origin. I see everything in relation to God. Then you're actually understanding what everything is and what it's meant for. Otherwise, you could be a brilliant scientist and be completely confused about what life is all about, be completely confused about what we're meant to do with all of this matter.
Right.
What's its purpose?
What's
How
the
does one
purpose
find
of all this
satisfaction,
study?
happiness? Yeah.
Where are we going with all this knowledge? I love this. It gave me a whole little bing, click, a little light bulb went off.
Okay.
It's like we become expert at studying a carburetor, feeling the carburetor, understanding the ins and outs of the carburetor. Then another guy's over here, Mara, is studying the exhaust, studying the exhaust. And then someone else over there is studying the fuel pump. It's like, good, but how do they, what is the purpose of the fuel pump? What's the purpose of the, like, how does it work symbiotically with everything else? And therefore, and where's it meant to have the entire machine going? Like, what's the perfection of the fuel pump? You know, when you take the whole thing out of the engine, it's really, it really just becomes a little useless almost. It's like, what, a paperweight? You can't let it fully live up to its potential.
It's Dharma. Yeah. It's Dharma.
Yeah. This is where we're going. We're trying to find what is the origins of love. I want to love things. What's the purpose of that love? How do you refine? How do you perfect that love? What's the purpose of, you know, sometimes I feel some anger. Is there a purpose of anger, or is that just some like dirty residue? Can we be used towards the actual goal? Right? Can we manifest anger instead of anger controlling me? Huh? Mr. Kaustubha, you like this? Where I'm going with this?
Yes. And therefore, so when Brahma, when he speaks his prayers to Vishnu or to Krishna, he opens up, we have this book, Brahma Samhita, right?
Yeah.
We only have one chapter of it. So it's this ancient text.
We only found one chapter.
One chapter.
Cool? Imagine what the rest of the chapters are like.
Oh my God.
Because the one chapter alone talks about like the layers of the universe. It was like discovered in an ancient temple.
Incredible.
Think how many other books are out there that are just undiscovered, or it's not like it was buried in a trunk. It was like the priest had it or something like that.
It was at the
Adi
You've been there
Keshava
before.
temple.
Yeah, we went to the Adi Keshava temple.
I never went.
Oh, you didn't go?
I never went. I heard it's a beautiful temple.
I went there. It was far out. So
you should have asked the priest, are you sure you have no other books?
Okay, let's go down there. Can we look right now?
Imagine if we were like, we found chapter 4. You and me, imagine that. We could do it.
Discovery.
We could do it. There's stuff out there that hasn't been discovered still. I mean, if you think what's going on right now, we're translating books that have never been translated.
Actually, Raghunath, this is something. This is who we should interview. We should bring on Gauranga Prabhu, and we should talk to him about this new project. There's this whole project that they're going out and they're finding all of these different ancient texts that aren't being well preserved because they disappear.
They disappear. They're written on leaves. They're written on leaves. Ever try to keep a leaf?
Even if they're published and written on paper, they can disappear. In any case, we're going off on a massive squirrel.
It's a good squirrel, though.
It is.
Did you ever go to, there's this, you know what a samadhi is, everybody? A samadhi is not just like a state of being, but they also call where they put, it's like a tomb of a great saint. And they put the body in there, or they put the ashes in a samadhi. It's like a capsule or a marble capsule of a great saint. A tomb. There's this place in Vrindavan called, you know where I'm going with this. You don't even know where I'm going with this, do you? The Grantha Samadhi. Yeah. The Grantha Samadhi, right?
Look, anything hidden, anything secretive, you get all excited.
Well, think about this. The Grantha Samadhi. A Grantha means book. Bhagavatam is called the Grantha Raj, the king of books. So the Grantha Samadhi are these books that after they were written, after they were like downloaded from the spiritual messengers to the great saints. They just said, the humans aren't ready for these. And they put them in this samadhi. Don't you ever want to go in that samadhi? Like, what aren't we ready
I don't,
for?
Raghunath. I don't.
Thousands of times, every time I walk past that Grantha Samadhi, I'm like, need to know. The mysteries of the universe are contained in this samadhi.
No, it's not exactly the mysteries, but it's that the point is that those texts are they're so esoteric because they get into the very intimate pastimes of Krishna and the gopis and so on. We don't belong there. Right?
We don't belong there. You can't. I know it's almost like trying to build a stairway to heaven. I get that, but it's still interesting that they're there and they're
entirely
like, nope,
free of lust. Then it'll be revealed to you. This is the point.
Maybe if we looked at them, it would melt all our lust.
But here's the point, Raghunath. You could be reading those books and you wouldn't even understand. When you are entirely free of lust, then you'll be free to understand. It'll be revealed to you. Whatever is meant to be revealed to you is. But
it's the Bhakti Dead Sea Scrolls, you know.
Raghunath, I used to go down there midnight with a pitchfork.
we found this.
Gets attacked by 100 monkeys.
I almost said this. We found. See how much Maya I'm in. I said. I was like, we found this young man digging. I'm not a young man. In my brain, I still think I'm a young man. We found this old coot digging around the Grantha Samadhi. Next time I take a group to India, we are going to the Grantha Samadhi and we're going to pray at the Grantha Samadhi.
That you can
reveal yourselves to me. Imagine if like an old man just comes out.
But you see, this is the point.
I had a dream last night. It is time to open the samadhi.
If I were to pray the Grantha Samadhi, I wouldn't pray, please, like, reveal yourself. I would pray, please, help me, bless me that I become purified, that someday I may understand what's in here. Right?
That's what I said.
No, it's a little different. It's a little different.
Well, I'm just saying, if there was an old man to show me this, it's time. Okay. You've been, some guy just realized it's time for me to understand them. Wouldn't that be great? I'm getting, look at all the Costa Rica girls watching, all the Costa Rican girls and me and Mara. Kaustubha's down there skeptical. No, you're not ready. It's not me. The guy opened the samadhi for me.
Okay,
let me live my world in my mind, Kaustubha.
Okay. Oh, the Grantha Samadhi.
The Grantha Samadhi. Oh,
I went there. I had
that
wonderful
place is like
we're
my
squirreling off
spot.
today. Maybe today's just a big squirrel day. Let's see. But
all right.
Now
you know what we've done though? We've picked people's interest in the Grantha Samadhi. Now people.
I was at the Grantha Samadhi. I'm going to tell you a story about going to the Grantha Samadhi.
Tell me.
So the Grantha Samadhi is at the foot of the Madan Mohan temple.
Another very, very wonderful place. Huh?
Yeah, so the Madan Mohan temple is on the cover of the book, The Journey Home. It's kind of the first major temple that the Goswamis built in Vrindavan. It's at the top of a hill.
Looks like a rocket, a beautiful rocket.
Beautiful sandstone rocket ship. So that temple was established by Srila Sanatana Goswami, and his samadhi is at the foot of that temple, along with the Grantha Samadhi, right? So the Grantha Samadhi is there, and again, the idea is that
his samadhi is not there.
His samadhi is there.
His samadhi is in. Maybe that's not Radha Damodar.
That's probably the Pushpa Samadhi. That's probably the Pushpa Samadhi.
Okay,
if it's there, yeah, because all the Goswamis.
Maybe those are his
Bhagavatam together.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So Srila Sanatana Goswami's his tomb is there. You could say his samadhi, as well as the Grantha Samadhi. Okay. So the idea is that these Goswamis, these beautiful sages, right?
Sages.
They're just beautiful, deepest of sages, the sweetest of sages, the most brilliant sages, right? As you were saying, they could, in their meditations, see the most intimate love of Radha and Krishna and the gopis. This is the most esoteric feature of spiritual life. That it's not just divine love, which itself is very esoteric, but it's divine love in an erotic setting, in an erotic context, you know.
Yeah.
And because we have the warped version of that within ourselves, right?
Right.
Like
It
we have the potential for that
eroticism
level of
becomes
a warped mind.
creepy, freaky, addictive. It's the purest version of that. It's the mirror image of
It's
that.
the original version of that.
And they
which
were
is pure.
connected with these people were connected with these visions. You can't fake it. I can't fake that. If they want to give it to me, they can do that. And they have that liberty to do that.
And so,
but I can't fake it.
So they wrote texts that were recording these leelas, these pastimes, and then they would share them amongst themselves and relish them from their pure-hearted state, within their pure-hearted state. But they also realized that it will, if they felt it would help people, they wouldn't have put them in the samadhi, right? But they realized that actually this won't help people. They won't be able to understand this. It's therefore they honored them, right?
And like now, no one's ready. Someday, some man will come, perhaps.
Hopefully,
and when
not,
it comes,
you know?
and when
he
comes, we will
yeah.
mercifully bestow upon him the vision.
Well, the point is, if you get to the point where you can understand it, you won't need to bust open that tomb and pull it out. You can see it in your own meditations. It can be revealed within your own heart. The holy name will reveal those pastimes to you within your own mind and heart. And you won't need to bust open the Grantha Samadhi.
I would never bust it open, Prabhu.
Oh, but you really wish you could.
I'm hoping some sage would say it's time for you, Raghunath.
Well, maybe it'll happen to you in that way. Maybe through some mysterious.
Or put my head to the samadhi and it all just downloads into my skull.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've had a lot of fantasies, terrible scenarios about this Grantha Samadhi.
Oh, but in any case,
I'll take you, Mara.
One day, oh boy, I'm getting the blessings of this now, because one day it was myself and Veera Bhadra Prabhu.
Just saw him yesterday.
Oh, great. So it was myself and Veera Bhadra Prabhu, and we decided, let us we were in Vrindavan together, and we said, let's spend the day in the morning going and offering prayers at the temples and the samadhis of all the great saints in Vrindavan. And we were seeking specific blessings, right? And one of the blessings that I was seeking was actually had to do with writing this book, which is now we're talking to the publisher, and a lot of it is written, so I'm feeling like it's coming now. But we were about to go there, and we bumped into Genevieve, and she's like, "Oh, where are you going?" And we're going. She's, "Oh, can I come along?" So there was the three of us.
What an auspicious team!
It was wonderful. It was just this is real. There's nothing more. I feel like saying the word wholesome, but it doesn't really convey what I'm saying. But it's like it's pure and it's sweet and it's beautiful. Like when devotees get together and they have the clear focus, and especially in that setting in Vrindavan, it brings out the best in you. Hopefully, it brings out the best in you.
Yeah.
And so we went, and I think first we went, we went along the Prikrama path. We went to the tree where Krishna jumped in and battled the
chastised Kaliya.
Yeah.
And
then and behind that there's the samadhi of Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati.
Yep.
And everywhere we went, little sweet, little magical things are happening. So I don't remember them all, but I remember something. We met some sadhu there. Something happened there. But he was a great saint that lived 500 or so years ago and composed brilliant, beautiful literature. And any case, then we moved on one thing, and shortly after that comes the Madan Mohan temple. And so we went to Madan Mohan temple, then we went down to Sanatana Goswami's Samadhi, and we went to the Grantha Samadhi. And for me, it was because there was the Grantha Samadhi, and the blessing that I was seeking had to do with writing a book. It would seem like a particularly appropriate.
Okay, I get where you're going with this. Okay.
And one sweet thing that happened there was one of the pastimes with Sanatana Goswami and Madan Mohan. Madan Mohan is a deity of Krishna that he established there in that temple. And his relationship was so intimate with Madan Mohan that he could speak and hear from that deity, right? This is our legends tell us, right? And but he was so, these Goswamis, they lived so simply that he couldn't make elaborate offerings to Krishna. All he had was like the food that he would offer, which was just a little dough that he would make this kind of like, he couldn't even like roll out a regular chapati. He didn't even have that kind of
He didn't have one of Mara's
facility.
commercial kitchens.
He didn't have a commercial kitchen. He didn't even, apparently he didn't even have like a little rolling pin, you know.
Didn't have a Hobart.
So he would kind of make these little dough balls and just throw them on the fire, you know, and offer them to
The
Mother
deity.
Mohan. And the deity, although it sounds like the deity was complaining, he was actually, you know, when Krishna speaks to you, if he's complaining, you're very happy that he's complaining, right? So Mother Mohan said to Sanatana Goswami, you know, at least a little salt, maybe. You know, like,
Just a little salt, please. Just a little salt.
Okay, I get it. You're living very simply and you're making these offerings. Maybe a little salt and Sanatana Goswami,
Throwing some salt.
this is all I have, you know. But to this day, they still offer these little saltless dough balls. And
you got one? Did you get one?
The priest at the temple came and gave us each one of those, and I was like,
you got a little dough ball.
Yeah. But then, you know, we went all around we went to, of course, we went in a certain path. I think we progressed there straight to Radha Raman Temple and Gokulananda Temple. We went to Gopeshwar Mahadev Temple, and then we went to the Vangsivata, the tree where Krishna played his flute and called the gopis for the Rasa Leela.
I want to go to Vrindavan right now after hearing this story.
And as I was, because all of these things I'm mentioning have a relation to the book that I'm writing, which is basically a simple introductory book, but you know, it's going to involve who is Krishna, why he plays the flute, what is the meaning of this dance, you know, the prayers that the gopis offer, what is the point to that, you know, when they come out, when the gopis come out and they see Krishna under that tree. You know, Krishna tells them, "What are you doing out here? It's midnight. I'm a boy. You're young girls. This isn't right. You should go back home." You know, and then they begin to offer prayers. Those prayers, it's like the deepest message, the most important message that every human being is meant to understand. You know. And then we went to Radha Damodar Temple, and everywhere we went, you know. Oh, when we were at the Gokulananda Temple, there you have the samadhis of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, of Narottam Das Thakur. Right. Who else is there? In case,
I know.
Lokanath Goswami.
Lokanath Goswami's deity.
And there, you know, I'm with Birabhadra and Janvi, both expert kirtan leaders, you know.
People, yeah.
And we sang together. We sang Narottam Das Thakur's prayer to Lokanath Goswami and to the Guru in general. You know, that we sing the Sri Guru Charana Padma. And that you know, that was beautiful, you know. And as you're going together to these places and you're rolling in the dust to these places and you're praying, you really begin from the heart to go to a deeper place of prayer than you normally do in your average day, you know.
Right.
And when you're with people that are lifting you up, when you sing that song at the samadhi of Narottam Das Thakur and Lokanath Goswami with these pure-hearted souls that are so talented as well, you know.
Did you break out a song going, "You lift me up, we belong"?
I wouldn't have ruined it that way, Raghunath.
You wouldn't have ruined it that way. I think they would have been really inspired if you would have said that. You guys.
And so, in any case, we had a wonderful day, but there's nothing like that, you know. This is pilgrimage, right? Like people say, "Oh, I'm going to Vrindavan. Do you have any advice?" You got to go with good people.
You got to go with good people. You got to go with good people. They got to have their consciousness purified. Whenever I do a pilgrimage, we build to Vrindavan. We never start with Vrindavan. We build there.
Okay.
You know, and the whole pilgrimage is sort of a training to get there. So when we finally walk through that transcendental threshold, our consciousness doesn't want to go left or right. We're already very focused. And that is sort of like the moment of truth. And it you know, people like Lori Pag, who's been with me millions of times, and Mara, and a bunch of people on the show here today. But like that's where it ends, right there, and then you're in the best consciousness.
Yeah. In other words, you don't want to just bring them there. You want to bring them there in the right consciousness.
In the right consciousness, or else it's like it's right in front of their face and they can't see it.
Right.
Like that experience is right there, but you can't see it because you're too distracted.
Now so anyway, we got distracted because we were talking about
You know what?
Brahma
It's not
Samhita.
a distraction. It's
No,
beautiful.
I'm
It's beautiful what you're
I-
doing right now. It's beautiful.
I'm-
The
I-
Grantha Samadhi.
but we
the
got
stereo-
diverted.
Oh, we got we squirreled our squirrel, I think.
We squirreled several squirrels right now, but
Okay,
going back a couple squirrels.
Okay, squirrel me back a couple.
We were talking about there's a temple in South India called
yeah.
the Adikeshwar Temple. It's a temple to Lord Vishnu.
Oh yes, and this is where this book was found. Oh yeah, that's how we got onto this, because I was saying,
It was
imagine if you
Sri
found the
Chaitanya
missing
himself.
chapters. Okay.
Yeah. Sri Chaitanya himself, when he traveled through South India, he came to this temple, and the priests, I believe, shared with him this chapter from a book that was spoken by Lord Brahma himself, called the Sri Brahma Samhita.
Hmm.
And we only have the 5th chapter, but the first verse of that 5th chapter, Ishvara, hey, do we have little Karuna here? Let's see if Karuna
I don't
knows
know
it.
if she's here. I wonder if little Mara knows it. Mara's like,
Nice.
no.
Being nice.
I'm being nice.
I'm looking over. Okay, there's Karuna's mom. Is Karuna here?
She's looking. She's checking the house.
Where did she go? What does Karuna do during
What
this
is she
time?
doing?
Let's unmute. Let's unmute. Talk to Karuna's mom.
All right, it's okay. Go on.
All right. Is she unmuting? No. Okay, so anyway, the verse is Ishvara Parama Krishna. Let's go line by line translation, Raghunath. Ishvara Parama Krishna.
So the Parama, the supreme Ishwara, the controller, the supreme controller is Krishna. Ishvara
Okay, so
Parama Krishna.
Sat Chid Ananda Vigraha.
So the Vigraha, the very actual form of him, is Sat Chit Ananda. It's eternal. It's filled with a deep inherent knowledge, and it's filled with the type of deep joy. That's the form of Krishna: knowledge, truth, and joy.
Okay, and it's so that
For
form never
eternality.
deteriorates. It's
Yeah, eternality.
Anadi or Adi or Govinda.
Anadi is the actual origin of all causes. Isn't that a nice way to think about things? Things have a cause of all causes. Why did this
That's
happen?
the next line.
Well,
That's the
because
next
this
line.
happened. No, Anadi
That's
or
the next
he's the original being. Anadi
he's
or
the
Adi or
original.
Govinda. This Govinda is the origin. He's the original being, and Sarva.
Sarva Karna Karanam.
He's the original cause of all causes. Why did this happen? Well, because of this happened. Well, why did that happen? Well, because of this happened. Well, why did that happen? If you trace it all the way back, Krishna is the original cause of why these things happened.
Right. Oh, hey,
Okay,
here's
Karuna, step on in here. We want to hear. We
Brahma
want to hear
Samhita.
the first shloka from Brahma Samhita. Hit it, 9-year-old Karuna.
Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadi Radhe Govinda Sarva Karana Karna.
Good job, my
Nice,
dear. Good
Karuna.
job. We missed you tremendously.
Well done, Karuna.
Okay.
Yeah, so important verse, and so much revealed in that verse, right? But here's the thing: it's like Lord Brahma handing us a key, right? In other words, does your life have meaning? Do you ever walk around feeling this could be a commercial, right? Do you ever walk around feeling life is meaningless? Well, this is what you need. It's just this verse, right? It's going to give you keys to understand. Thinking like Pavlov, right?
You're thinking like Pavlov now.
If Pavlov was speaking to, let's assume Pavlov was speaking to like junior scientists, right?
Okay.
Saying, you know what, research is valuable, of course, but its true value lies in trying to understand your research in terms of its origin. When you understand it in relation to its origins, you're going to really understand it. Until then, you're not really going to understand it. Right? So similarly, Brahma is saying here, you want to understand what is the value of your body? You know, what is the value of your senses? What is the value of all of the shifting material energy? What is its purpose? You may understand so many things about it, but until you understand it in relation to its origin, you really don't understand very much at all. So here's that origin, right? Ishvara Parama Krishna. There's many controllers, but the highest of them all is Sri Krishna.
Wow.
Satchit Ananda Vigraha. He's not an ordinary person. his form is not ordinary. It's beyond the shifting material energy of this world. He is the origin of everything. And sarva karna karanam, the karna means the cause, right? So sarva karna, all causes. He's the karanam. Sarva karna karanam. He is the cause of all causes. Now that means that you can understand everything's origin ties back to him. Now, okay, well then that means if I understand him, then I understand everything, right? Like I got a key. It's like a master key, right? One key may open up one door for you, but if you have the master key, you can open up every door.
I like that. The master key.
Master key. I like that.
Get right into the Grantha Samadhi with that thing. It's a big lock on it. Ah, that is a beautiful, perfect definition. And now we're going to turn to Miss Mara, who's got the goodies for the day. I'm sorry we didn't go anywhere with this. We did go places, people. It's about the journey.
Okay,
it's about the journey. We're going places.
Sometimes you're supposed to end chapters on the Friday and start new chapters on the Monday. So
that might be
we're
it.
starting a new chapter, so we'll start it on Monday.
And tomorrow's Q&A day tomorrow?
Tomorrow's Q&A.
You know what we're doing tomorrow? We're going to the Springs. No, today we're going to the Springs. Forget it. We're going to the Ichitutney River tomorrow.
All right.
Ichitutney River. Okay. Miss Mara, what goodies do you have for us that we can take away, put in our pocket, and pull out when we need them?
We have to shift perspective to figure out what we're doing here.
There you go.
Yes.
Maya is hovering around our time-lapse diorama.
Yeah,
Time-lapse.
it is. Time-lapse.
The most fantastic thing is we think we won't die.
Fantastic.
Beware and examine our conditioning.
Beware.
Understand it all in relation to its origin.
That's our theme.
Yeah, that's our theme. I think we could have worded that better. Understand it. I like the context.
Okay.
But okay.
What's the perfection of the fuel pump?
I like that. I like that. And not yet, sorry.
Suffering from a meaningless life? Try Brahma Samhita.
There you go.
Ooh, I like that. I am.
As a matter of fact.
Understanding Krishna is the master key.
The master key to enter the vault.
You like keys too, Raghunath. Like you
I
like
love keys. Cool skeleton keys.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And
And
don't bust open the Grantha Samadhi.
don't
Yeah, Raghunath.
bust open. Can't
Don't-
bust it
don't even
open.
Think about it.
If there is a person who has entrance into that tomb and would like to invite you in, then you can go. And there may be a person out there. Who knows? We could just hang out there until somebody comes by. Somebody comes by and is receiving special mystical downloads, and then he looks to the right, and I'm standing there chanting japa. As you and all your people, I will allow you entrance. What about my friend Kaustubha's over there, sitting there skeptical? No, he's not ready yet. Can't let him in yet.
Oh,
But you
Raghunath.
can give it to him if he.
Raghunath, you know what this is reminding me of? You know what this is reminding me of?
I know. Let him in too. Let him in too.
You know what this is reminding me of, Raghunath?
What's that?
Can you hear me when the music plays?
Yeah.
Okay. This is reminding me of a conversation between you and Tamal Krishna Goswami. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The rap song.
Yeah. Do you remember what it was about?
What was it about? No, I can't remember.
He was trying to give you some inspiration about what to write a rap song about.
It's a crazy story.
And so he said the theme can be fools rushed in where angels fear to tread. You remember that?
Oh, yes.
And then he said, and then you can rhyme it with dead or bullet in the head.
It was funny hearing that from Tamal Krishna Maharaj.